Hi everyone, this is Killshot 99 Dead, and this is The Passage, Season 1, Episode 2, Fan Reactions Live. What an episode. I'm really liking this. I've got a ton of bullet points. I'm not going to go line by line. We'll do a recap for that later on, but we're going to get some initial reactions to it before we get started. We got Valar super chatting, saying hello to 99 Army, Kill Steph, Kels, Emmy, Sweet Tommy, sponsors, Patreons, and of course, Valar, and the super chatters. So thank you so much. Appreciate that, Valar. Got a lot of good stuff from this episode, and not everything that we saw in the teaser preview last week was shown today. So I know there's some big questions. We were doing the countdown, like how does Amy get up there? She's not there yet. And Uncle Creepy, I think this kind of answered your question, and my question from earlier is, it was so rushed to get us from point A to point B, and now they're starting to fill in the blanks. So this felt like, this felt good for me. I mean, there were a lot of good questions answered, and I think the last couple will be answered later on. So we can see, the 2015 flashback, Liz, what Jonas is doing this for. But before we get into it, let me just ask everybody the question. What, if you had to react to one part of tonight's episode, what was it that you liked the most or shocked you the most from tonight's episode? So let me see kind of your initial reactions, and then I'll give you mine. I'll tell you what I thought was really awesome tonight. So let me get a couple. Valar, I'm loving it too. I think it is a very cheesemakers all die. I think it's a very solid story and a good balance between character development and the dark side of how the vampires are going to evolve. Ron, I like that as well. The bond between Amy and Brad, it is strong. It's definitely, you can see the acting is tremendous. Viola agrees. Shocking that they killed her so quickly. I knew it would happen. Lacey, right? Najee says Amy sacrificing for Brad. A lot of maturity in that little girl. Just we're going to go a couple more comments. The bedtime reading by the flashlight. Yeah, there were some moving scenes. Shows like The Walking Dead and other things that we like, it does take a little bit of time to really get into the character development. And I think once we get 3 or 4 seasons in, we forgot that every show has to do this. And I think they're doing it quite well. Lisa Khaleesi says the ex-wife showing up. So for me, and I have the image up there, it's the dream sequence and how quick the drug affected Carter. And next thing you know, Carter's having these dreams, and he's seeing Tim, and we can see that I think Tim is going to be like the master vampire. He's going to be the one. I mean, you could tell his intentions were not very good when Jonas wanted to develop the antidote for Liz to help her, with the Alzheimer's, and he just wanted to make money off of it right away with the defense contractors. And we did talk about how there's always going to be some military involved in it. It's almost like when they need someone to carry out the dirty work in any TV show, they always call the military, right? Yeah, just ripped his tooth right out. So we'll kind of go through, like I said, we're not going to go through the entire episode. We just wanted to get some reactions in here. The car chase scene, it's that I will say has been overdone, but they do have to create space. So I get it, but there's always just happens that right when the red light happens, 2 cars always come from both directions. You'd think in that small town, maybe there's not quite so much traffic. But yep, caused an accident. We've seen that thousands of times. Other than that, I really had to, you saw some of the bullying with the janitors. But one thing I did like, I have to, I got to tell you, the chemistry between Brad and Amy at the bus, where they just kind of walked up and said, "Hey, it's field trip time," and then she just opened the back door, let him in there, and then the kid on the bus, I know it's got some some intermittent humor in there, but I thought the kid was hilarious, and it's so true. Kids don't know telephone numbers. And then he's like, "Okay, what about your mom's number?" She speed dialing my sister's phone. I mean, kid was completely clueless. So I think they're going to show some real parts of society in this TV show. I'm enjoying that. And also, there were some hidden clues out there. I don't know if you guys caught the newspaper ads hanging on the wall. They showed them twice. The flu, and it said, really quickly, let's see if anybody remembers this, because I actually took it down. How many people are dead in China so far? Did anybody catch that newspaper clipping? Yep. Ron Burgundy's fast. Ron, you're taking notes, right? Ron Burgundy, 13,000 people. And if there was I guess something we're going to look back on this show, and we heard it twice tonight, but if there's something that's just going to ring true, and I know I do a lot of Walking Dead comparisons, this was more, I hate to do it, this is more Lee and Clementine than any relationship I've seen on television. Brad and Amy are Lee and Clementine. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And I know that hey, look, that's not what they're trying to do, but the whole time I'm watching this, I'm just getting flashbacks of the Walking Dead video game. A lot of people see that, right? Now, I hope that Brad does not face a similar fate as did Lee. But when you break this down, and that's moving, and I think it's going to be moving all throughout, where she says, "You don't leave me, and I don't leave you." The maturity, the bond is not just one-sided either. The bond is definitely there. Even Brad's wife, Lila, she can see it. She's like, stop, and you don't have to do this. What are you risking it all for? And then when he kind of said, "Look, this is the first thing that I felt was right in a long time," like, I could feel that. I could feel his genuine nature, not only in the acting, but just in his character, that he's just been going through the motions and doing these hit jobs and anything he was told to do, and finally he's at a situation where he can take a stand. Absolutely right, Eric. This girl, she's phenomenal. I like how the conversation happened in the car, where she just kind of escalated. I don't know every reference she made, but that was such real conversation. Where, I haven't eaten, I only had Cheerios, and, I can't do this, and you were going to die, you can't pass out, you can't die. Just how her voice, her inflection, just gradually went up more and more and more, where she was starting to make a point. She was frustrated, but she was hurt, and she didn't want to be without him. You can see that they are super, super close. "And you owe me a unicorn." So she kind of she circled it all the way back. But I got to tell you guys, I'm extremely hooked, because I think the dialogue is great. The character development is good. There's a good mix of real life society, and then and then there's also that bullying element. What about the ironic justice is what it's called, right? How did you guys feel about the janitor? I mean, was that not perfect? You're just hoping, like, just Get closer. Just get closer. That guy needed to go in the worst possible way. Now, I mean, I hoped that Lacey would be around. I think somebody mentioned this a little bit earlier. She died way too soon, but it just goes to show you how ruthless these people are. And they're not going to stay in one place. But Lacey would have been somebody I would like to have as a resource. That's the kind of friend I need. I need somebody that has some, got their own little place set up, is up there raising goats, and just has all the military and all the gun arsenal in the world. Yeah, Lacey always knows a guy. Early on we had a really nice emotional connection, and so they're not afraid to kill people on the show. That's for sure. I don't think it's going to be real violent, real gory. I mean, we have seen a few deaths in the first couple episodes, but this did kind of it felt like an extended premiere. Like the first half last week was really setting the stage, and this was kind of picking up, and then and I feel like we're there. Now that they're captured, like we're into the real show. So, really quickly, this was bugging me, and it finally clicked tonight. Jonas. Anyone, can anyone remember the name of Jonas's character on a very popular TV show? I've been seeing this doctor like the last couple of weeks, and I said, I know him from somewhere. I remember this guy. Desmond. Yep, absolutely. Desmond from Lost. Yep. I mean, look, he's been on several shows, but Lost was where... And it just finally hit tonight. So Eric says, where do we go from here on the show? Well, most of the questions that we had in the countdown were answered. Thank goodness. Some of the questions were we going to see a flashback? What was the reason they were doing it? So we know that Jonas wanted to save his wife. Liz was sick with Alzheimer's. So he had some selfish motivation. Tim has some selfish motivation, and he's going to continue to have it because, he wants the money. And with all the people that have died, I mean, that's the constant reminder. We saw the newspaper ad, 13,000 people died, and then we're just going back and forth on this ethics situation. And ultimately, I got to ask you guys the question. Because, I mean, we hate the doctors. We hate the scientists. Is this the right thing to do? Is it the right thing to do to try to inject Amy if it could potentially save the world? Viola says no. She says the world should just go. Yes and no, huh? This is a tough question, right? So there's the answer I'm looking for with Ron. I think it is the right thing, but I think they didn't have to kidnap her. I think there's a different way of doing this. They could have said, look, there's some real bad things going on. It may not work out for you. Sorry, you're a child, but you might be the answer. I would put the ball in her court. And if she said no, then I would find someone else. Because clearly they're looking, but there still has to be something about Amy that is different. The reason they went all the way there to find her, I don't think it's just completely random. She just lost her mom. I mean, that could play into it, the emotional state, but and the fact that she really doesn't have anything or anybody. Got to be still a couple more questions that need to be answered. And I do think we're going to get a few more of the flashbacks because, we got to find out, why Tim was in that cave. Well, the thing is they don't have time. They've tried some of these different ages. And, they don't have any teenagers in there, so they're just going, straight to this specific age. And I don't know if they answered the question. I mean, did we ever get an age on Amy? Do we know how old she is? 8, 9, maybe? I don't know. I don't know if we confirmed an age in the first 10. Okay. All right. Yep. Okay. 10's good. Hey, see you, Sheila. Thank you. Yeah, something about it is going to make... I mean, I know they kind of gave us bits and pieces and said they think younger is going to be more geared toward it, and then it's going to help them with their... I mean, this thing is spreading. So we're going to be up against the... up against the clock here. But the difference between... I'm assuming the difference between a vampire and a zombie is, can these vampires be cured and go back to an original state? So right now, I mean, they have the ability to levitate, jump, fly, get into your dreams. They crave blood and they'll rip your neck off. But I'm just wondering if they get the antidote, do they lose all those powers? Or, because Amy's going to get those powers, now maybe she won't have the same cravings, but then it does make you wonder, if they come up with an antidote, is there an antidote to make you not be a vampire any longer? We'll find that out later on. So Gam, that's a good question. What laws do vampires follow? And you can see the, I don't know if we've got her name yet, but the blonde that I have up there in the picture, she said all you have to do is listen to what he says. So I know last week I said that, I don't know the exact word, whether it's a master vampire. I mean, what is the head vampire called? A monarch, maybe. I'm looking for a word. I'm looking for what, like the, there's probably a lot of words to it. I think monarch is one of the references that they use. So, master vampire. Well, I mean, that's clearly, we know who that is. And she was very specific that she said, just all you have to do is do everything he says. So we know who's calling the shot. So Gamma, what rules they follow? They basically follow that that main vampire. And there's been some movies out there like Blade, the Vampire Hunter. Like there's always they show the one person that's kind of in charge of the rest of the group. Now, they're not always like having huddles. I think they're mentally like speaking to each other. But I'm really interested to see how they're going to do it. And sometimes, I mean, they do negotiate with the living. So they're pretty smart. They can not only get into your head and they know what they want to accomplish, but I think they understand that the whole world's probably not going to be vampires. And the thing is, they don't want the whole world to be vampires. Why do you think that is? See, here's what makes a vampire so smart. And why they will negotiate. I'm going to kind of... Exactly, Khaleesi. Because they need a supply. So even if they... Well, it could be a minion type of thing. To me, vampires are just arrogant. They don't want the whole world. They want enough to kind of convert gradually, little by little. But if you're talking about living forever, which they do, then it's like growing cattle. So the vampire sees this group of people as just a never-ending resource. They still got to go out and procreate. They got to live. They got to do things. And then they just kind of pick them off little by little. But they're not afraid to let you know that they're calling the shots, that they're in charge. So that's something I'm very interested in seeing as the second half. But everything else pretty much held true. So we found out the inmate, his name is Carter. He had a knee injury, and man, he was working at treadmill, no problem. Got his tooth pulled out too. And one more thing I'm going to ask you guys, and then we'll wind this thing down because we wanted a reaction video. I'm not going to keep you guys up all night. I thought it was great, but I don't want to influence your vote. So if you guys can all do me one big favor right here, right now. Chris Rating, I'm not going to disagree with you. From a 1 to a 10, tonight's episode, give me your rating from a 1 to a 10. Let's see what you guys got. We got a 10. We got a 13. I'm liking these scores. You know what? I can kind of sit back and just let these scores speak for themselves. Fox looks to have a winner on their hands. Great job the first 2 weeks. I am going to give it a solid 9.3. I think it's a 9.3. I thought it was incredible. They're answering my questions. They're doing a good job. So I'm ramping up as well. Maybe if they would have found a more creative way to do the car crash. If Lacey somehow lives through it, because I like Lacey, then I would rate it a little bit higher. I didn't like losing Lacey quite so early, and the car scene was just a little bit overdone for me. And it was the way it was done. It was the exact same way. Speed through the red light, 2 cars crash on both sides, and it's never the car that crashes that has like the main dude in it. You know what I mean? Like, they're always in the second Tahoe, not the first one. Why couldn't the first one wreck? Hey, you know what, Chris? Maybe you're right. Maybe Lacey's not dead, and Lila goes back and saves her. That would be great. No doubt, no doubt. Oh my God, I'd be so excited to see her in person. That's Joyce Andrews. Tommy, the Army's by far the best group of people I've ever met. I agree with that as well. What an awesome group of people. And Viola McGowan says, I think we will see Lacey again. Kimberly G, love Lacey, hope she lives. And we have just hit 26 minutes for our reaction video. So I want to thank all of you guys for being here. You guys are absolutely incredible. Do me a favor. Bite the like button. We're going to keep this passage thing. I'm so glad we started watching the show. They're very good job. I just see it ramping up, becoming better and better. We're definitely going to add this to our weekly conversation. Tomorrow night, we're going to do a little bit of random things over on the 999 Army channel. So we're also going to announce our caption contest winner. So we got a lot of fun stuff going on this week. And then middle of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, we're going to be back here talking a little bit of Walking Dead with some new news that's out there. And also, we're going to be doing some comic book reads, a few other things. So make sure you're subscribed. You can see at the top, join 999 Gaming, 999 Army, and the 999 Dead. If you're subscribed to all three, hit the notifications, then you'll know that we do our thing each and every day. So thank you so much. Appreciate everybody being here. Just a special quick shout out to all the patrons up in the top left-hand corner, sponsors top right-hand corner, moderators Emmy, Steph, Tommy, Kells, and also the super chatters. Thank you so much, Valar. And the rest of you guys, give me a quick 999. If you're new and you don't know what we do, if you're just watching the passage and you saw us streaming and jumped in here, hit the subscribe button, hang out with us. We'd love to have your insight, your comments each and every week. And also if you're a Walking Dead fan, Game of Thrones fan, Stranger Things fan, all of the above, then you can catch our topics on one of our channels. So thanks so much, Kimberly G, Ron Burgundy Moore, Gamma, Viola McGowan, Coachella, Michelle M, Heart of Nixie, Diana C, Uncle Creepy, Phyllis, Chris Rainick, Bumblebee Brown, Sam B, Joyce Andrews, Ramona Heath, DDA Ohio, Najee Watts. Who else we got? We got Lisa Khaleesi. Thank you so much. All right, Chris Rainick, E-Beach, Sam B, so many people. Alani, I'm probably doing multiple shout-outs. Samantha Coombs, thank you so much. Riley Benton as well. Northside Queen, Robin Vance, Dark Start Killer. Just a reminder, everybody, we're going to be on the 999 Army channel tomorrow. We're getting close to 1,000 subs. If you know somebody who wants to hang out and talk about random things, get them to subscribe. Jump in there tomorrow night because over the next couple weeks, we're going to push that thing up to 1,000. Thanks, everybody. I will see you tomorrow. Peace.